Everyone, now and then, has a bad day at the office. Everyone who works in an office, I mean. Everyone who doesn't work in an office is obviously exempt from... Not that the office itself is the problem. Taxi drivers, they're going to have a bad day in the taxi. And ranch hands, they're going to have bad days at the ranch. And halal butchers, they're going to have bad days in the... What I'm trying to say is, without bad days, there are no good days, right? Like, there can be no light without darkness. There can be no happiness without sadness. There can be no yin without... In short, you put on that tie, you sit in that swivel chair, you fill out that W-4, there are going to be bad days. I know this. I accept this. But what I don't accept is, how come when the average guy, average gal, has a bad day at the office, worst case scenario is the internet goes down, or the coffee machine breaks, or a Microsoft PowerPoint file gets corrupted, whereas my bad days, take today for instance, 9 a.m., I'm in the portable trailer, roofs leaking, oscillating fans going, damp paperwork fluttering this way and that, and suddenly in bursts Eddie the Torch Swallower, kerosene dripping from his lips, informing me that the Bengal tiger got loose again, and long story short, I'm going to have to find replacements ASAP for 2 of our unpaid interns. Like I have the time for that. And then not 5 minutes goes by and Marty Silverstein from payroll waltzes in, wagging his finger sternly, telling me it was an intern who left the tiger's cage wide open, and that management says I have 24 hours to develop a mandatory intern training course in big cat safety, and that I should thank my lucky stars no paid employees got mauled, because it would have sent our workers' comp premiums through the roof. 24 hours my ass. I have a date tonight, romantic dinner at Crouton Palace by the interstate, and I'll be damned if Big Cat Safety is going to stand between me and those sweet, luscious, perfect. But then just as soon as Marty leaves, after ordering me to keep the double intern mauling on the DL, in comes my darling Petra, queen of the flying trapeze, saying that she can't see me anymore, that she can no longer handle the lies, the secrecy, that every time she triples somersaults through the air to her husband and acrobatic partner Sergey, she wonders if he knows, if he's gonna flub the catch, if he's vindictively gonna let her plunge 40 feet to her death. And before I can utter a single word of protest, she's gone, and I'm alone in the trailer, and the oscillating fan blows a post-it note that says, the 3 R's of success, what are they, into my face, and it's only 9:15 and I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. So what I'm saying is, yes, there are going to be bad days, and yes, there's no gain without pain, and yes, sometimes life has to knock you down before God can lift you up, according to Pastor Mike, the circus chaplain. But lately, I get the feeling that God, in His infinite mystery, has been repeatedly extending His hand only to pull it back at the last possible instant, so that He and Jesus and maybe some nearby slapstick-loving angels can share a good chuckle as I fall, once again, flat on my face. My name is Julian Billingham, and I'm the Director of Interns for the Bumble and Billingham 3-ring discount circus. As of June 07, technically we're only a 2-ring circus. The 3rd ring we rent out to a nearby funeral home for surplus cadaver storage. But for reasons of nostalgia and cost effectiveness, that simple subtraction becomes expensive when you have to update every sign, every brochure, every donor solicitation, every letterhead. We remain a 3-ring circus, at least in name. As you would probably deduce, I'm a member of the eponymous Billingham family of southern Wisconsin, who in the late 1800s joined forces with Pennsylvania's Bumbles to create the most thrilling 3-ring traveling spectacular the Great Lakes region had ever known. But I am also adopted. My mother, Martha Billingham, abandoned all hope for childbirth after suffering 2 miscarriages, a biological disappointment which, among relatives who proudly claim to have the circus in their blood, has unfortunately secured me a rather low position on the familial totem pole. As it turns out, being a Cyto Billingham is nothing like being a Cyto 3-ring circus. In the case of the circus, my family fully expects to reverse our bad fortune, to wrest that 3rd ring away from the funeral home, to once more recapture the circus's faded glory. But in my case, nothing can make me a real Billingham, and so instead I'm relegated to lower management. Instead I work out of a leaky trailer I share with Big Tony, the circus's manure coordinator. Instead I supervise enterprising yet gullible college students who have been duped into performing the circus's most menial tasks without receiving any monetary compensation, or when they are mauled by a ferocious wild animal, workers' compensation. Instead, I'm the Director of Interns. the Bumble and Billingham three-ring circus's heyday, there were no interns. Instead, there were over 1,000 itinerant workers who traveled with the circus from town to town across the vast corn-fed swath of the Midwest, and were paid mostly in food, 3 square meals a day, pancakes and eggs for breakfast, sandwiches and fresh fruit for lunch, hamburger, pork chops, and rib roast for dinner, with ice cream and cherry pie for dessert. Not so bad considering many of the circus's golden years were during the dust-choked privation of the Great Depression. But now, circa 2010, the Great Depression 2.0, the circus's traveling days are over. We lease a small strip of undesirable land in between the funeral home, an electrical substation, and an erotic kosher deli. And so are the days of the 1,000-man crew. The clowns all work in human resources. Yip Yip, the dog-faced boy, does our marketing. Marty Silverstein for payroll is also a part-time lion tamer. And as for the interns, fresh-faced, well-referenced, deans listed, do they get their 3 square meals a day? Oatmeal, sheet cake, and meat and potatoes prepared and served gratis, as in days of yore in the circus cookhouse? Like hell they do. They pay a king's ransom at the vending machines outside the camel stables, like the rest of us do, or else they cross the highway and order from the counter at the erotic kosher deli, where, if they don't mind eating sandwiches shaped like male genitalia, pastrami and rye is only $4.99. Mr. Billingham, sir, says a voice faintly outside my trailer door. The voice belongs to Davis, the most polite and least competent of my 11 interns. Come in, Davis, I say wearily, as the oscillating fan blows away a post-it note that says, important in big block letters, and nothing else. The interns are the brainchild of Johnny the Brick Colucci, the circus's current manager, a short, stout, humorless man who is in no way related to any Billingham or Bumble, although rumor has it he's been getting a bit genealogical with some of the Bumble wives. Like most circuses, ours has always been an epitocracy, power-handed from Billingham to Billingham, from Bumble to Bumble, but after a half-decade of hard times, dwindling attendance, performer defections, investigations by animal welfare groups and the IRS, the two families agreed it was time for a change, and so they brought aboard Johnny the Brick in the late aughts, impressed with his glittering track record in the alternative on-site sewage industry. We expect Mr. Colucci to do for the circus what he did for alternative on-site sewage, said my great-uncle, Thaddeus Billingham, beamingly at the poorly attended staff meeting when our new manager was first introduced. And he did. Within a week, over 40% of our staff was flushed away. The calliope player, the fire jugglers, 2/3 of the custodial staff, the barkers, the fortune teller, all but 2 of the riggers, the snake charmer, the bearded lady, every last one of the roustabouts, the sword swallowers, the what is it, Janine and sales, all deemed to be inessential, to be disposable, to be waste. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Billingham, sir, says Davis, his hair closed damp from the outside drizzle. It's just, please, I say, take a seat, make yourself comfortable. Davis looks around the cramped, cluttered trailer, nearly all floor space occupied by stacks of manila folders generated by Big Tony's manure coordination. But, sir, there's no chair, says Davis, almost apologetically. I know, I say, just a joke I like to make. Please continue standing uncomfortably in front of the door.